That's it. It's already in place. One of the jobs Emeterio makes on the instruments that he repairs is to replace the broken or deteriorated strings. The length of the string determines the sound that it will emit once it is tuned correctly with the pegs that are housed in the peg box. It must be done slowly so that it does not heat the wood inside. Because if you go too fast, the wood gets toasted, nothing more, although it does not burn, but it does get toasted. Another part of the organillo is the machine, composed of a wooden support on which are fixed 35 small hammers of 2 different types, which will strike the strings to give the musical scale. The hammers are placed in orderly fashion in the machine on a needle or steel wire pin, called piano string in the slang of the luthiers. After placing the wooden small hammers, Emeterio assembles the ones covered with felt to finish with some small clumps of wood with a spherical shape. These 2 hammers that are here are the ones that strike on some bells. Some bells that are not a musical note, but they are a type of castanet. It is a bell, and it sounds very well, that is to say, that it makes its grace to the piano. With the remplin, that is how we call this small device, we put the springs, because only this way they do not strike. But nevertheless, we put in the spring, or mola as they are called. Do you see? And so on. Successively, you can make all of them. Well, that's it, as you can see. When the hammers are fixed to the springs, the machine can work. On this occasion, the organ grinder has changed. This is a hammer that has the felt here and is lined with leather. With leather for the simple reason that, in this way, it does not damage the central felt. And when the leather wears out, again, another leather is put on, which takes a long time, but eventually everything wears out. In other words, the clump is always new, which is the fundamental base. They are numbered for the simple reason that they go from largest to smallest, as you will see, in capacity. They are more narrow up to here. Well, up to here, or rather, this is also felt. I mean, leather. Well, I'm going to place the machine inside the organillo. The machine occupies an exact and precise place in the organillo, so that each hammer strikes the strings that correspond to it. The meaning of this spring is to press the machine towards the cylinder on some stops that it has, naturally, in such a way that the machine does not move out of its place. Because then we would say the hammer would not work. The hammer would not work for what reason? Because it would come off. Already with the spring in place, it is clamped and then it sounds. This is the reason that the machine cannot move by itself. Now it is in place. The remaining free space will be occupied by the cylinder. It is a hollow piece made of poplar boards. This wood must be very soft to facilitate the phase of the tapping or placement of the nails of 3 different heights. The first, the second, and the trinao that will give all the musical notes. The first nail acts on its own with a single note. Pun, as I told you at the beginning. The second are 2 nails that go closer together. One comes out of the other, then it lasts for a space and a few seconds. Then lub-dub. They are a single note, and they are 2 nails. If there were 3, which are also called second, it would make lub-dub-lub, 3 notes. And then there is the trinao, which is even lower, and that one goes faster. It's closer together. So it means that it goes tiki, 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 tiki. That is the triano. And this is the foundation of the height of the nails. To make a new cylinder, you have to previously mark on a piece of paper that later is glued to the wood the exact place that each nail should occupy. This task is carried out by his son on the basis of the popular music scores zarzuelas, chotis, pasodobles, although any type of composition can be played. In this case, Emeterio is replacing the missing nails in a cylinder used to complete the carreras, or lines. To do this, he uses special pliers that facilitate the pressure on the soft poplar wood, leaving on the outside the precise nail length according to its function. The first nail is higher, the second less, and the trinao lower. Once the cylinder has all the nails in place, it will occupy its space inside the cabinet of the organillo. The surface of a cylinder usually holds about 22,000 nails. Their precise arrangement in the carreras, or lines, and the right length for each note will ensure that the melody will sound correctly. Playing the organillo is very easy. The most important thing is to maintain an adequate and uniform speed in the rotations that activate the operations of this simple but, at the same time, complex mechanism. When the handle is turned, a worm gear sets the cylinder in motion. The nails drive the reeds at the base of the hammers, lifting them up, and the hammers, pressed by the springs, fall with a hard strike on the strings, making them sound. The arrangement of the nails allows that, in each organillo, can be played up to 10 different songs. Songs that became popular in the parties and that today remind us of past times, of chotes, chulapas, mantones, and barquillos, in a Madrid that has remained in the memory.